I'm here for the one reason that brings the entire internet together. San Marino. It's a tiny country in Italy, and if you haven't heard of San Marino, then you are really missing out. Now, I'm assuming if you are here, you probably have heard of the San Marinese national team, which is notorious for basically being the worst national team in the world, which isn't really their fault. The country is like 15 dudes, basically. I think it's actually 33,000 or something. And it's a country that has one sporting club, I believe, that competes in the Italian league system. It's like in the fourth division. So there's no reasonable expectation for San Marino to be any good. But they've only won one match ever. And they've been doing something very interesting recently to try and end that. And I freaking love it, right? Because there is a real fun part of the FIFA rankings for me. And that's the bottom, right? And I am, talking about the fact, like not just San Marino, but like if you ever go to the world rankings and really just scroll down, San Marino seems determined to answer the question, what would happen if the British Virgin Islands and Sri Lanka actually played a game, right? Like you come all the way to the bottom here and you look at all these teams and you go, I realize that this ranking system is set up in order to try and rank all of these teams, but is Gibraltar really worse than Somalia? Like, I don't know. Those teams have never played. I feel comfortable making that assumption. Like, is Seychelles really worse than the Cayman Islands? I saw an article one time about the Cayman Islands actually putting up posters around their, the island to ask for tryouts. The Caymanian League is like not professional at all. I've actually been to the Cayman Islands before, and I had a waiter who was from England, who had been there and was playing in the Caymanian League. So it was a real rough and tumble league, very physical, unsurprising, perhaps. But that they basically have tryouts for the national team out of the Caymanian League just to see who's going to make the national team. Is that team really worse? Or is that team really, better than Seychelles? I don't freaking know. Like Pakistan, are they really just as good as Tonga? Well, San Marino has been determined to try to figure that out because they have invited St. Kitts and Nevis to play two matches in San Marino, right? This is San Marino trying essentially to get a win, but also to create great competitiveness. The issue for them is that St. Kitts and Nevis is a little too high, right? They're 147th of the world, and they have like actual professional players. Now, San Marino does too. Berardi in particular is a pretty decent player on San Marino. I know this because I once made a video where I had to sit in this very chair until San Marino won, and then it didn't happen, and then I had to leave my desk. And then we had to do a stream that went until San Marino won, and that lasted for 24 hours, and then I slept. And then the moment I woke up, I started the stream again, and it took even longer. And eventually, San Marino won one Premier League match. So, that's why it took so long. We simmed like 130 seasons. It was a little ridiculous. But they've invited St. Kitts and Nevis, and they lost 3-1. But I love this for multiple reasons. Because while this was happening, right, the entire internet comes together. There is no greater universally recognized underdog than San Marino. There's no reason San Marino should be any good. Even compared to St. Kitts and Nevis, San Marino is a minnow. There are almost no teams in Europe that they could beat. Their one win is in a friendly over Liechtenstein in 2004. The Nations League being introduced gives them more shots at the Gibraltars and Liechtensteins and Andorras of the world, but all of those teams are simply better than them. They just are. Like San Marino is just the worst team in Europe. And I love that they are creating these environments for these teams to play in. I wish, and I don't know why teams would want to participate in this, but I think it would be fun that they would host these kinds of international matches more often. If FIFA actually introduced some sort of concept like that, there was some weird, Algeria's hosting a match between. Oh, we made a video about it, and it's so insignificant I already forgot about it. But encouraging matches between confederations is definitely something FIFA could do more of. Because in this match, San Marino was the favorite. They were the betting favorite against St. Kitts and Nevis. Which I'm going to flip that around, honestly. The disrespect to the Caribbean teams. Right, St. Kitts and Nevis has got a dude named Kyle, I think it's Kyle Kelly, who's in the Liverpool Academy. Andre Burley's a legitimate player. They have a guy that plays on Cardiff. Like, they're a better team than San Marino, and they won, even though they went behind 1-0. But the betting favorite, San Marino got to be a betting favorite, and they got all of this attention, right? Like, all of these guys, like other content creators that, I'm friends with. Visa. Yeah, I'm booing at my phone violently right now. It's St. Kitts and Nevis takes the lead. You've got FNG, who I think is hilarious, tweeted out, it's Jover with the San Marinese flag on it. Right? This was all over my timeline, my feed. So much so that I tweeted out, nothing brings the internet together like San Marino having a chance. One day it will happen. And that one day, part of the reason I'm doing this now, right, is that one day might be this weekend. Because I said this is an international break. They just invited St. Kitts and Nevis over to play twice. Cool. This also isn't the first time that San Marino has done this, specifically with Caribbean nations. They invited St. Lucia to come play in 2022. And they drew St. Lucia and then lost to St. Lucia. Like in those two matches. You're like, oh, I mixed up the pronunciation because I can't remember which one's right. But they are playing these matches, and San Marino, for being the worst national team in the world according to the FIFA rankings, right, is doing more good things for international football than the next 50 teams in front of them combined. More. They are. They're doing more good things for international football in the next 50. I don't care about whatever match Montserrat has coming up. No offense to Montserrat or Nepal or Grenada. I care about the next match San Marino has coming up. They're giving the people what they want to see. They're giving the people San Marino against a Caribbean nation that the vast majority of people didn't even know existed. And even less people probably knew that they have at least a not terrible national team, St. Kitts and Nevis, right? They're a competent group of professional players, most of them. And that obviously is a problem for San Marino. But this is great. This whole story is great. I hope San Marino's able to win on Sunday, even though that'd be a blow to CONCACAF pride everywhere. And San Marino can take solace in the fact that they're at least ahead of Eritrea, who has not played a competitive match in a while because it's basically the North Korea of Africa, which, if you ever wanted to watch an interesting news article and dive down that rabbit hole, I highly recommend it because I have, and it's super interesting. But yeah, they haven't played a match in a while, so San Marino is ahead of them. But I am convinced that if San Marino can find one of the virgins, the British ones, the U.S. ones, or Anguilla or Turks and Caicos, Guam would be an even longer flight. But if they can play that match, I think San Marino could win. This determination to keep putting yourself out there and this groundswell of support and interest, which interest is a currency for teams like this, right? Being able to make people interested in what San Marino's national team is doing is just going to drive revenue, TV interest, betting interest. It's going to help the team. It has to. Interest is the currency of the modern age. Will it happen against St. Kitts and Nevis? I hope it does. I don't think it will. I think St. Kitts and Nevis is better than St. Lucia. I think they bit off a bit more than they can chew. But if whatever I can do to help make San Marino against Anguilla happen, I will do. I would love to see that. I think that would be a winnable game for both of those teams, and both of those teams do not do a lot of winning. So let me know if anybody needs help putting that together. Let me know. Now you at least understand why San Marino was all over your timeline today. All right, bye.